Have GW lost their minds, unleashing this torrent upon us? We better sink our teeth in right away.
It's the Andy and Remington Steel Show on your screens tonight. It's the Andy and Remington Steel Show for your home delight. We're talking about Age of Sigmar and anything else that is cool. Talking about Warhammer fantasy, it's easy to learn the rules. Andy and Remington, Andy and Remington, Andy and Remington Show.
Welcome one and all. It's time for another voyage into uncharted waters. It's time for the Andy and Rem Show episode 145. As you can see, a bombardment has landed on the community. Who better to analyse it than Andy and Rem? And there we are. Hello. Mr. Remington, your blinds are open. You're allowing all your neighbours to peek in through the window and marvel at the splendour.
Absolutely. I'm offering everybody who can see a sneak preview into the world of Games Workshop updates. I mean, give me more.
However,
shopping bags. Cool.
Before that, I've got a sneaking suspicion you might be on the wrong microphone again.
Bollocks.
See, I've developed an ear for it now. Let's find out.
I can fix this.
We believe in you.
Not like that, though.
We have faith.
Andy and Remington. There's no other wargaming show that has a better intro than that. Right?
Do any of them even have intros?
No. Those are amazing. Right. Now,
Just say that again with the proper mic.
There you go.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes, coming in wonderfully clear now.
There you are. So yeah, as I was saying, more, and they're giving us more. I can't get enough. Is it all good? Well, we're going to debate that. Will Andy be buying it? We're going to debate that.
The answer's probably going to be no on that one, but we'll see.
Will I be buying it? We'll see as well.
I guarantee you'll be buying at least one thing on this page. So, they had their big preview day when they just unleashed a tidal wave of upcoming releases on the community. People's wallets were trembling in fear, their bank accounts were catching the nearest plane, going into hiding, and got into witness protection. Let's have a look, shall we? So we'll go through very quickly. At the top of the page, they always start with 40k, which we don't really care about. But I did find this one kind of interesting. A Sister of Battle in a giant, like, exo suit, which I thought was vaguely cool.
I do love a Sister Battle. Have you seen them up close and personal?
Yes.
And any of the Sister Battle. What do you think? Do you think they're kind of small and spindly?
I wouldn't go that far.
Well, when I see the pictures, I think these look amazing. I'd definitely like to get these, but I think they're actually quite tricky to paint. But yeah, I do love them. I think people have been waiting ages for that sort of gothic, female fanatic vibe, and now they've got it.
They had the Sisters of Battle out for a long time, but they were prohibitively expensive because they were all metal. The plastic ones obviously have opened that up to more people, and some of these spicy new models, very nice. No idea how they fare on the battlefield, but I think you'll agree, very nice models.
Well, Andy, I've just noticed something at the top of that model. There is a symbol. Can you see that symbol?
Yes.
It looks exactly like the Cub Scout symbol from when I was a kid. And we used to say, "Oh, Kayla, we will do our best."
I'm sure they're probably derived from the same place. Anyway, on that note, straight down, we've got Space Marines, which, as you know, are our favourite thing on this show. So, got one here who, that's a bit of an unusual sword action he's got going on there. But we'll move on from him. And of course, well, everyone knows how overdone it is to have a miniature pointing with one finger, but how about this? Pointing with two fingers. This is like a Remington $1 million idea.
It's just another Space Marine. What's the big deal?
But look at him, he's pointing with two fingers. Have you ever seen that before?
No, I hadn't.
This is like, unlike any other Space Marine I've ever seen. I've only ever seen them do the single digit point in the past. So he's going with the double this time. Very exciting. I'm sure the audience will be thrilled about that.
I don't get it, but obviously, you know, other people love it. They love it. They can't get enough, right?
It's a Space Marine with a gun, yay! I've never seen one of those before. Of course we have.
I've seen loads of those things.
Yeah, another one. Just new Space Marines, up to the eyeballs.
He's aiming.
But I think it's all about this guy, really. The double-fingered point, which is something you don't see too often. And Batzuka, in fact, says that it's double important. Yes, if you want to point at something with emphasis, you don't just go with the one finger, you go with the double.
What's the bolt in his head? Does that get removed if he gets killed, and then they put his memories into like another body?
Have you been watching Altered Carbon?
I watched the first series, yes, but it's also very bit similar to Rogue Trooper. That concept, but yeah, is that the thing? Space Marines? I don't know. It's not my speciality, you know. But people love it. What can you
sure do? Stu Gibson says the double-digit point arm comes in the intercessors box. You can have all your squad sergeants double pointing.
Oh wow, that's the big development.
Shocking news there. Necrons. So this one is floating. And he's got cubes floating around him. Propped up by danglage, as most models are nowadays. This one has got bits of skin hanging off him.
If you were still thinking about the Cub Scout symbol on top of the Sisters of Battle, yes, Graham Rigg has reminded me that it is the Fleur de Lis. Did I even say that right? Fleur de Lis symbol. And it's used by lots of organisations. So maybe even the Necrons, maybe.
More the claws. So these Necrons that kind of wear the skin of people, they were a thing before. These are like the new versions. The old ones were a bit not the best looking models.
These are very crusty, aren't they? They're like locust-like or like, cockroach-like. You just want to crunch them. Some people eat cockroaches. How about that? A Necron eater.
Well, how about this? Remington's Strange World Food Adventures. New channel.
A bit dry for my taste.
Got the skin of a person on his face there, kind of crudely draped over.
What's he doing that for? Is that meant to be some kind of disguise so he gets by in human
Now,
worlds?
I could be wrong, but I feel like they're trying to capture the essence of life somehow. Maybe they used to be alive and they're trying to get back to it by taking the skin of others. I'm sure I've heard something along those lines. We've got people in the chat who will know, so they'll be able to correct me immediately if I'm wrong. So yes, the flayed ones.
Why doesn't he just put his personality in the memory chip and shove that in the head of a Space Marine, right? What about that for a new faction?
Yeah, Necrons. Why haven't you thought of that?
You know.
So this guy with cubes floating around him is obviously coolest. Of course, he's got a nice cricket ball at the top of his stuff there as well. Probably shining.
He's got a yo-yo. He's got a yo-yo in his left hand. Oh, that's very 80s, isn't it?
Very nice. Graham says the head stud is a 10-year service award. Is that true?
Ah, what? Someone shoots you in the head for your 10-year service?
That's more like an Imperial Guard thing, I think. Okay, Adeptus Titanicus. There's a new Titan Yay, it's big, it's Titan-licious.
It's another big space marine. Yes, apparently, Brad Jimenez says that Necrons are a good source of protein. There you go, just like other insects you can eat.
If you find
Like
yourself
trying.
lost in the jungle, perhaps, and you see a couple of crunchy, juicy Necrons there, go for it. Brad says yo-yo was originally a weapon. Is that true?
It was when my brother used to use one and hit me with it.
Well, can't argue with facts like that. So this Titan, pretty cool, but it looks the same as all the other Titans, essentially. But it's obviously nice. It's just we don't know anything about Titans on this show. I haven't paid attention to Titans since the old days of epic Titan legions. Back when Titans were cool. They were a bit smaller back then, mind you.
Andy, you have played 40k and you like it, don't you? You've got some Necrons.
I have got a few Necrons which I tried in Kill Team, which I strongly disliked. But I have played regular 40k as well, which is fine.
Ah. Well, then you may not like what's coming up because I hear there's more Kill Team stuff coming.
Oh, good. Well, let's keep on scrolling. And, oh, they've got the Titan size chart here. So this is clearly bigger than the previous Titans. I remember the old Reaver Titan in Epic. The scale of the old Epic games was significantly smaller than this current Titan game, though. So they wouldn't really be compatible. And now we're on to...
Is it a really big deal if a Titan gets destroyed?
Probably.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, right, okay. Lumineth Realm Lords harness the hurricane.
Well, let's see what this is all about then. And what do you know? It's another model suspended by its own danglage. So this is like a whirlwind of... It looks like ribbons that then turn into a spiral of wind beneath it. And it's a fox cow with a bow riding on its own windy danglage. How would you describe this?
There was this like 2-player fighting game. Oh, what was it called? Oh, bugger. On the PlayStation, me and my friend played it for hours. And one of the characters, I think, is called Kimitsu. It had 2 daggers, and she was like a fox girl with a mask on. I really like this model, to be fair. I do. I think if they had to hold army as these sort of graceful, jumpy animals, I'd dig that. Kind of cool. I like it, mate. Yeah.
You gonna get one?
No. I think it. I mean, what's the I mean, I love the tail. Is this like a centerpiece model? Do you think, or is it like just a hero?
I think.
What's your feeling?
It looks comparable in size to something like the
Celestial Prime.
Yeah, Celestant Prime. Yeah, similar to that. So I don't think it would necessarily be the centerpiece of the army. There's going to be bigger models there, but it's definitely
that fellow wasn't cheap, was he, Andy? That's you're talking
cheaper
like
than a Star Drake. Definitely like the number 2 or 3 centerpiece of your army, I would say.
So what's his attack consist of then? Is it like it's basically a giant bolt thrower, isn't it?
Essentially.
You'd imagine.
Spinning round on the wind, plinking off, and he's got enough arrows there as well to last an entire battle, definitely. You often see models and you can't envisage where all that extra ammo is going to come from. But with this guy, look at all that. He'll be firing off multiple arrows a turn there and not run out.
I love it. I just think they could have just spent a little bit longer developing the kangaroo guys. Maybe just have kangaroos rather than people riding the kangaroos. It's like the last beast you'd want to ride is a kangaroo.
Is it really the last? Let's have in the chat now, what is the last animal that you would ever want to ride into battle? Worse than a kangaroo. And
well, it's not like you can't fall asleep on a kangaroo, can you? I mean, it's literally like just throwing you in the air and then catching you and then throwing you up again.
Sounds awful. So we've got some close-ups though. So look at all those wonderful arrows. Is this the most arrows we've ever seen in a quiver on a miniature? Could well be.
Well, maybe. I mean, there's only 5 rounds in Age of Sigmar. Only 4 or 5 rounds in Age of Sigmar. It used to be 6. So look, let's count the arrows. That's how many you can fire in one game, right? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. So maybe he fires 3 per turn.
Maybe. There's that tail you like so much. It's obviously a very nice, well put together model. But do you have any kind of disconnect between the different elements of this army?
I do. I'm not sure that they all. I don't know.
I'm not sure there's that much cohesion between all of them. There are a few elements that are common across the range, but they do seem a little bit all over the place to me.
It's almost like, why didn't they put the animal side of it on one side and then the elves on the other?
I think what we're used to, if you think outside of Chaos and Stormcast, all the other factions that have come along, all their units do look very, very cohesive, don't they? Think about the Fire Slayers, for example. All their units very similar looking. There's not a lot of variety in there. And people who are waiting years for more releases for those armies that only have kind of a narrow range, don't they? But this army seems to have a bit more visual variety in it than some. So maybe that's what's giving them that vibe. Anyway.
Just roll with it, man. Yeah, it's cool.
Teclis,
It's
the
cool.
book. Okay then. Teclis, he's back in book form. So, War Scroll battalions for Lumineth, Realm Lords, Cities of Sigmar, Maggotkin of Nurgle, Flesh Eater Court, and Ossiarch Bone Reapers. Okay. Daughters of Cain, Battle Tome. A new Battle Tome for them.
This was quite exciting, but I don't think there's any new miniatures.
Well, what about this? Endless Spells. These, actually, maybe the coolest looking collection of Endless Spells. I think this heart being squeezed with blood dripping down, it might be the coolest looking Endless Spell they've got to this point. And the other two aren't bad either.
That's the one I wasn't sure about.
I really like it. It's like a gauntlet clutching this jewel-encrusted heart. And it's just something very cool about it. Look at the blood dripping and splashing off the ground as well.
I don't know. It kind of looks like a Dalek that's been cut in half. And it's like, yeah, its intestines are coming out of the bottom of a Dalek. I don't know. Weird, man. Weird.
I'm a fan of that one.
I love the snake. I like the swords. I'm just wondering what that spell does. Is it like stop in the name of love before you break my heart?
I'm sure it's not going to be called that, nor will it have a special rule by that name. I don't know. Does it even tell us? Let's see. You like your magic dripping with blood as you cast it across the battlefield, and frankly, who doesn't? You'll love the Bloodrack Viper, Blade Wind, and Heart of Fury. There you go. It's the Heart of Fury. Brad says, reminds me of the Queen in Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah. I mean, I actually love, I enjoy painting endless spells. I do. I get a buzz out of them. They're great models to put together and paint. What's love got to do with it, says Brad.
Interesting question. Okay, next. Dire Chasm. The Crimson Court. So, we've got vampires, and we've got vampires left, right, and centre. This is the first one.
Andy, look, they're bringing out models for a faction that isn't supported, right, as in vampire counts. But they didn't bring any new models out for Daughters of Cain, and they've got a tome out for them. Don't get it, man. I wanted
Yeah, but this is for Warhammer Underworld's Dire Chasm. So maybe they're just testing the waters with this, and there'll be more vampiric stuff to come later. But this one, standing on a bit of stone as a lot of things are. Either they're propped up by a bit of scroll or hair dangling off them, or they're standing on something. Staring into his palm. Nice looking sword. I like this one.
I love it. It looks like what Vlad von Karstein should have looked like to me.
Definitely got a bit of that vibe, and there's enough going on with the armor. It's not like that previous one where the paintwork was very minimalist, shall we say. That Vampire Lord that we saw recently.
Yeah.
There's this one, which people have made the case that looks like she's about to chop her own hair off, which is true.
I think that's a great figure, mate. I like that. That wouldn't necessarily be out of place in a Daughters of Cain army either.
It is a very nice model. But can you imagine having that length of hair and holding a sword behind your head like that? You know that sword's going to be sharp. As soon as you swing that, it's just whoosh, haircut time.
And I've just got it. I'm bringing it back again. But why didn't they bring out more actual, units for Daughters of Cain? I don't get it. It's like, it's a no-brainer to me. Could have had some slaves. What about that?
What about this guy? Those are some pointy shoulder pads this vampire's got going on here. Very classic vampire look. Yeah.
He looks like what Manfred could look like, right? Manfred on foot.
That is true, actually, yes. Interesting weapon as well.
It looks very heavy.
It does, and all these are much better than that other vampire we saw. So it's a shame that one of these didn't get leaked instead, because that set us up for disappointment, really, that other one. And now, this one, I'm not sure about the hair. What do you think about this guy?
Well, it's the boots that are strange for me. I mean, if he had like sort of bare feet or bare claws or bare hoofs, he would look more gargoyle-y, wouldn't he? More.
That is a good point, actually. The boots do catch the eye once you point them out. It's hard to get your eyes off them because that colour stands out among the rest.
I would like to put a snake's body on him. He would look wicked, like a snake with little wings.
You're trying to give people nightmares.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say I'm going to get this box. It looks good.
It looks like the kind of thing you would enjoy painting, actually.
Yeah.
Based on your history. Next, Warhammer Quest Cursed City. So, delving into Warhammer Quest. And it's a new adventure, this time with a witch hunter.
I'm having these, Andy.
You going straight for this as soon as it's out? The new Warhammer Quest?
That's you, that is, isn't it? That's you.
Well, if you refers to the thumbnail, it's your head on the witch hunter, actually.
It's true, and I did look rather good, I thought. But yeah, you play the witch hunter in our online games. I think his hat is amazing. It's just an incredible figure. I'm having this all day long. I'm going to buy the whole box, and then it's going to take me like 2.5, 3 years to paint it.
And then it'll all be obsolete.
Yeah, pretty much. I can see that going that way, but still want it.
I like the stakes. They're a very nice touch, especially how it's kind of underneath the barrel of the gun. Like how a modern or like a sci-fi gun would have like a grenade launcher slung underneath it. This guy's just got a stake launcher. He's
badass, man. And I think, on some channels they were talking about having a sort of a witch hunter faction. And now we know, Warrior Priest and the Witch Hunter models have sort of been removed from the Cities of Sigmar Empire armies. So the hope is, at least for me, that there could be a sort of a witch finder of Sigmar, or that a sort of faction that could have the flagellants, that could have the Witch Hunter, that could have those sort of mercenary look to them. It would be so good, but maybe we can still hope. But at least we've got this, right? This looks like a good board game.
On the topic of witch hunters, who's your favourite witch hunter based character in media outside of Wargaming? Because I'm definitely leaning towards the witch smeller pursuivant from Blackadder?
Um, well, there was the Witchfinder General, classic 1960s film. Of course, you've got Van Helsing as well. That's actually a pretty decent film. Quite enjoyed that. What else have you got? Answers in the comments. But seems to be something well loved, doesn't it? And on the back of Vermintide, I think Games Workshop have picked up. Look, there's you know what I mean? There's some traction there.
Next, what about this? So, I'm not sure, based on this angle, how good that weapon he's wielding there would be for digging. Can't see what kind of angle it's got on it and on the other side. But
This guy looks like a concoction from the imagination of that Spanish film director. You know, that film escapes me about the little girl who dreams and wicked
I
film.
know the one you mean, yes. I'm noticing the zombie down there is pulling up the bit of wood, presumably from the coffin.
I love the spade. The spade looks like a decent weapon as well.
Looks like it would be great as a weapon. Any good for digging holes, though?
Well, you certainly break ground with that,
Certainly could.
rather than break wind.
True.
Pan's Labyrinth. That's the film. Terrific. Yeah, he's very Pan's Labyrinthy, I think. I like it.
Very interesting hat. I'm not sure what's going on there.
No, I'm going to make a hat made of bones.
Yeah, quite nightmarish looking. And I think that's it. So that was the bombardment that they gave us. But, as if that wasn't enough, that was just the preliminary bombardment. Once everyone poked their head up from the trenches, then there was a second wave. And first of all, there's GW's rip-off of What the Hell Is That, which is the rumour engine. It's a claw. It looks maybe Tyrannid-like, so...
Some might hope it's new Spider Fang Grots.
Some might hope. In vain. So, no need to speculate too much on that. And next, so, more Underworlds. If there's one thing that we don't care about on this show, first of all, it's generic Space Marines. Secondly, it's generic-looking Chaos people that have been done to death. And when I saw these, I thought, if you're a Games Workshop sculptor and you get the brief to do another batch of generic-looking Chaos people, you must think, yep, okay then, I'm sure we haven't got enough of these already. And you have to put in more effort than you do with a Space Marine. The Space Marines, you're pretty much just recycling assets, I assume, since they're all
Just
kind of
big
uniform
lumps,
looking. But these Chaos,
They're
they
big,
must,
slow lumps.
it must take so much effort to craft these compared to some other models in their range. But they still look the same as all the other Chaos stuff. Like, why? It seems like every month we get another batch of Chaos that looks identical.
I don't know. All the Warcry bands, they're pretty cool, man.
Well, let's see what people have to say about this one.
We're a bit bitter on this show, aren't we? Come on.
Well, we
Try
are
to
when
be
it comes to
enthusiastic to get-
Chaos. I used to love Chaos Warriors, but I feel like they're doing them to death. See, so Mickey in the house would like a hat, presumably like the Witch Hunter.
Yeah, that would look good on her. Yeah.
So does
Need a
anyone
flash back as well.
does anyone get excited about these new generic Chaos releases? Anyone at all? So let's move on. Now, Blood Bowl. It's dead.
Okay.
It's Blood Bowl, dragging the ball around by a chain. What do you think?
No, that's not fair, is it? You'd have to, if you pick that ball up, you'd have to pick her up with it. So it's kind of like that's got to be against the rules.
Would it be
surely.
fair participating in Blood Bowl as a ghost anyway?
That's totally not fair, man.
Stu Gibson still loves chaos. Probably still going to be buying them. See, it's you that's encouraging them by buying all these releases.
Yeah, I mean, back to that cursed city though, Andy. It looks like there's a whole lot more to come from that, right? So it looks like there's 4 different kinds of witch hunter from different races.
Well, I'm looking
You can,
forward to that. Of course,
yeah,
you've got a halfling witch hunter, of course, on your painting table.
I can't wait to paint that as well. TT combat, thank you, Andy. You know what I like. I couldn't resist but start painting one of these scarecrow guys. If you can see that, probably can't. I'll send some pictures in when it's done. Oh, what's
And
that? Games
while
Workshop share price.
while people are digesting this, I'll show them what I was working on today on a live paint stream. So 2 live streams on this channel in one day. Can you ask for more succulent entertainment than that? But I was working on this, which is starting to take shape now that more colours have been applied to it.
That's massive.
Sure is. Look at it, next to a human hand.
He's got an octopus for a head.
Heavily converted. A dragon's head for a hand. Faces on its kneecap.
This is the twisted mind of Andy. He needs to see a psychiatrist, I think.
Wait till
Take
it's
that with
finished
you.
and then let me know what you think when it's finished. And I may seek psychiatric help at that point. So, speaking of people who need help, that's a lot of downward on this little chart we've got here.
Yeah, you're looking at the 1 month chart, so you can see that nearly 3 weeks ago, Games Workshop hit that all-time high, and that's pretty much where your man Remington sold his shares. But I've kept 1 share, and you can see it seems to be having lower lows and lower highs as it comes down the stairs. Not necessarily a bad thing long term. I mean, this is on the back of Games Workshop posting the best ever quarter results ever. So it just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense fundamentally because you think things should be going higher, but it is what it is, man. This time last year, a Games Workshop share was 40 pounds, and now they're selling for £106. So if when you step back and look at the bigger picture, it's really not a huge step down at all. It's just a little stumble on the
So,
way.
it's looking like you picked a good time to diversify your investment portfolio, cash out on some of that GW love.
Yeah. But it's not the end, is it? It's not the end. I think if it goes down under 100, I might be tempted to get back into the game and tempt fate for another year of double-digit gains. Who knows?
Who knows indeed. So, on that note, so what about this? Gaming sector stocks in general.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. Not seen this before.
yeah, so comparing the rise in different shares across the gaming sector. And you can see that the likes of Nintendo haven't had the same level of growth, GW, in that department.
That's interesting. GW has had more growth than Nintendo. That's actually phenomenal. You can see that Nvidia is like a monster company. Part of the reason, I'm not saying the only reason, but part of the reason for that is because Bitcoin miners need the highest spec chips off Nvidia, so they're like trying to buy ones that they just can't produce fast enough. So it's one of the reasons why there's so much demand for gaming chips that Nvidia make. AMD recently won the battle between Intel, who was the bigger company, but Intel have failed to produce a newly promised chip, and their share price plummeted while AMD's shot up. But it's likely that you're probably watching this show with an Intel chip somewhere. But AMD is definitely the one coming on the rise.
I don't even know who sent me this. I can't even remember now. But their phone looks like it's about to run out of charge in this screenshot.
Interesting. Yeah, a very interesting chart there. And look, Games Workshop is in with the big boys. That's what it seems to suggest.
Sure are. Speaking of... that doesn't even work. So, here's some Remington models.
Wow.
Trying to seg nicely into the next bit of the show, but there was just nothing to work with there.
I mean, what can I say? If you want a paint job that resembles the Games Workshop color scheme, but is way better, then look no further than Remington Painting Services. That's me. Sometimes available, sometimes not.
What a
On eBay.
slogan for your business there.
What a slogan. These were, I don't know, I enjoyed painting some of them, but not all of them. The guy with the twin crossbows, it was great fun to paint. But the guys with the cloaks shrouding themselves, a bit tricky, man.
I like the pose, the one with the 2 daggers.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. I was going to put these guys on like more raised bases. Could have been more interesting, but
like leaping off a rock. I'm surprised they don't come leaping off a rock as standard, to be honest.
Yeah, leaping off ancient ruins and stuff. Actually, they do come out real nice in those photographs. But yeah, that's a Warbound painted. I can tick that off my my bingo card. The Games Workshop bingo card was one of them was painted Warband this year, so I've done that.
Brad wants to know what you use for turf on the bases.
Oh yeah, well I used these base paint. What are they called? I think it's Sterling mud, Astrogranite. What's the sort of one that looks like cracked earth? I use that basically, and then paint over it with some of the dry texture paint. Yeah, not too odd. I need to put some bushes on them, really, don't I? So I'll do that, and then that's them done, I suppose. So I think these could go in a Daughters of Cain army, couldn't they? These guys, surely.
I don't see why not. Now,
I mean, perhaps they're in the new Daughters of Cain rulebook. That would be good.
Now, we have got some more stuff to look at that was sent by community members on the Discord server for us to look at. But before we do that, we're going to do What the Hell Is That? And this time, I think it's a very, very interesting one. So, strap yourselves in. There, the intro. Everyone sing along, everyone start dancing at home. And we go.
What the hell is that? What the hell is that? Is it a chaos dwarf or a vampire bear? Oh, what the hell is that? What the hell is that? Oh, what the hell is that? What the hell is that? Only Andy and Remington, Andy and Remy, Andy and Remington know. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? Is it Sigmar's speed or Neferata's hat? Oh, what the hell is that? Oh, what the hell is that? Is it a mangled squig or a sorcerer's rat? Only Andy and Remington, Andy and Remy, Andy and Remington know.
Okay. Here is a beautiful image of course, a sick and elderly, ailing at death's door Yoda. But whose mouth does Yoda have? I can tell you right now that it is a model produced by Games Workshop. Whose mouth is it? I think this one looks pretty cool, actually. As far as what the hell is that goes, this is a nice one, I think. Surely someone's going to get it. Mr. Remington, have you got any ideas?
I'm busy writing in the chat.
But we have the audience to do that.
It's Yoda's mouth. I'm supposed to be looking at.
Yes. Whose mouth
Yeah.
is inhabiting Yoda's face?
Oh my days! That could be
Miniature.
anyone's.
Produced by Games Workshop. And no, it's not a Space Marine. It's not the man running away from the giant. I know which one you mean, and he does have teeth kind of like that. It's not Nagash. I'll tell you how much of a clue do I want to give here. It is not from Age of Sigmar, which is kind of a clue. It's also not from 40k. Bum, bum, bum. It is not an ogre bull. It is not Greasius Goldtooth.
He should make a comeback.
It's
My
from
man.
a game system that doesn't get a lot of coverage on this show. It is not from Blood Bowl. I think I'm going to have to give even more of a clue. It is from the Middle Earth range. I had a guess of Gollum, actually, preemptively, but that is not correct. It is from Middle Earth. Which miniature is it? What the hell is that? Brad, I think you may just have nailed it. It's a cave troll.
Wow.
The distinctive mouth of the cave troll, transplanted into Yoda. The powers of computer wizardry.
Very good. And Brad, you can expect a hand-delivered gift. Who from?
Remington Industries.
Remington Industries, new PA. Or maybe the old PA. You can drop that off on our way out. Yes, Brad. So, yeah, leave your details in the comments for everyone to see. And hopefully you'll get something in the post. Something nice.
I wouldn't
Make sure
leave
it's
your
not-
comments. I wouldn't leave your details in the comments, to be honest, though. There's probably some strange people watching this show.
Yes, make sure a cave troll doesn't turn up at your doorstep. But Brad, well done, mate. Well done. You join a very prestigious list of people that have actually guessed right Andy's devilishly hard conundrums.
Deliciously, devilishly difficult. So,
What do you call that when you use the same letter in every word? I like it.
alliteration.
Alliteration. He's clever. Andy's so clever, isn't he? He's wasted on this show.
Or is this show wasted on... How many people have got? 17 people. This should be an audience of thousands. This level of... It's not just entertainment. We're doing a public service as well. You learn things on this channel. Okay, let's look at some stuff. So, some miniatures. These are posted on the Discord server. And in fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to look on there right now on my phone just to see exactly what this company is called so I get it right, because I forgot to make a note of it foolishly. So let's crack this open here.
I like these. These look like Estalian, like Empire soldiers, don't they?
Okay, this is apparently Wargames Atlantic, and they're conquistadors,
Love it.
who would go well with old world stuff, according to Drunken Deer on Discord. Not bad at all. And we can see some of them constructed as well. There you go. They would look very nice in a Dogs of War army, wouldn't they, with those pikes?
Yeah, these look great, man. Definitely. I mean, if you want anything like that, you're going to have to look at sort of the regiments of renown, I suppose, or what's they called? The mercenary companies
Dogs
that
of War.
cost dogs of war. Yeah, they'll cost you a fortune. But look, these are pretty much just as good, and I bet they're a lot cheaper, aren't they, Andy?
People have to look into it for themselves, but we've got some more stuff to look at as well that was submitted by the community. So we've got a Kickstarter that is currently, I believe this one is active. So this is Dungeon Masters. And you might think, well, they're just some miniatures, but when you see some better pictures, I think you'll agree they're very nice. So, apparently, this guy that sculpted them, this Boris, is one of the most world-renowned, top-quality sculptors out there, according to numerous sources.
They've
And
always got Polish names, haven't they? Guaranteed to be amazing at sculpting and painting.
Nightmare Games, Dungeon Masters, a set of 8 30mm approx scale fantasy miniatures composed of 4 heroes and 4 villains, designed to fit in with classic miniature collections and games. So let's have a look at. Got them. I think there's some painted as well. Here they are. So there they are, painted heroes, and very, very classic looking, aren't they? Very, very muscular. I like the wizard actually.
I like the Valkyrie. I've always had a penchant for Valkyries.
I'm a fan of the
Or is it-
wizard's pose. It's got that kind of, often a lot of classic miniatures, while they were fun and characterful in their expressions and whatnot, sometimes the poses could be a bit static because of the moulding, the limits of the technology and the sculpting and such of the day. This, I think the wizard, it's really giving you the impression of like channeling some power that he's struggling to contain with gripping the staff like that with a hand in the air. I like that a lot.
Yeah, these are great paint jobs too.
Yeah, so they're not like leaping from a rock through the air like modern miniatures, so they keep with the classic aesthetic. I like it. I prefer the heroes to the villains, I think. Even though they're cool. Skeleton. I think the heroes are definitely cooler. And rightly so, I suppose. And then we can look at some of the other stuff on here as well. Just to show you some of the other things that were sculpted by the same person. So, giant demons. That is such a Skeletor looking fellow there, isn't he?
Yes. Caldor.
Eldor the Necrons. More demons.
Yes. I think it's a new year, isn't it? Obviously, but there's some things from last year which need to come back. What I'm thinking, Andy, is Pile of Shame. Amazing segment of the show. And also Nerd Confessions. Wow, that Beast of Malice looks like something like that horror film with Kurt Russell in it in the snow.
The Thing.
The Thing, yeah.
So, very nice.
Yeah.
Next, I will agree that Pile of Shame and Nerd Confessions should make a comeback. You'll get no argument from me there. So I think next week, we won't dedicate the whole show to it, but a sizable chunk. We'll put up a post in the Facebook group for Nerd Confessions and one for Pile of Shame. So if anyone wants to share their shame or share their confession of nerddom, with high levels of nerditude.
If you're new to this show, you know, maybe, I doubt you are, because it's just an elite bunch, a stalwart bunch of 100 or 200 or so people that actually get to watch this show, because YouTube seems to ban it. You can't watch it.
YouTube does
after-
banish us. They don't notify people when the show's going live, often.
Some it's not
Very
right.
annoying.
Some it's not right there, Andy. But yeah, Pile of Shame is when you basically take a picture of all the miniatures you haven't painted yet. or the project's unfinished. And you confess, basically, and Andy, as the Witchfinder General, will pass a judgment on you and give you a plan of action. It might be to say a little prayer. It might be to give you new goals, new targets, inspiration, and the like.
And
good like that.
the Andy themed bingo card for this year as well has several entries on it related to piles of shame. So painting something from it, selling something from it, and giving something away from it as well. All were on there.
And if this is a success and we get lots of people involved, then guess what? I will write a theme tune for Pile of Shame. Perhaps in the chat you could give me some rhyming lines that go well with Pile of Shame. Is Andy to blame?
Pile of shame in the pile of shame.
In a show that used to have fame.
It's Remington's pile, but who's to blame? Is it GW for releasing models again?
Make sure you use loads of skulls and flame in your pile of shame. It's always the same. The box end up in the pile of shame. That's Roshi. Rem's on his game. You know that, babe. Pile of shame.
Next. Now, this is a Kickstarter that's finished, I think, but someone also posted this for us to analyse. So, these are 10mm fantasy miniatures, which is that even smaller than Warmaster? What scale was that? But it's quite similar looking. Let's scroll down and have a look. So, some dark elves in 10mm. Do you own anything of this scale at all? You're typically a 28mm kind of guy. I've dabbled in various smaller scale games.
No, mate. Can't do it. I have to my eyes are. I'm losing my eyesight already painting 28mm ones, let alone these.
Raptor Rider unit, totally not cold ones. Bolt throwers, hydras. Very cool. Lord on Manticore. These are very nice, actually. The Blood Cauldron is in there as well, apparently. Let's get to that. There it is. That one's not even been painted, but there's the Blood Cauldron, apparently, being pulled by dinosaurs. So if you want to see larger pictures here, then you can head over to this Kickstarter, which is... It's not active at the moment, but I assume there's some way you can get your hands on them if that's your thing. Examples of unpainted metal miniatures. There they are. And this is one thing I like to see, actually, where they have them on a little grid with the measurements on as well, so you can see precisely how big they are. That's always a nice touch, especially when you're dealing with a scale that maybe you're not familiar with. You want to know, is that 10mm up to the head? Is that 10mm to the top of the weapon? What if they have a big helmet? How does that affect things? So, like I said, already finished. I think it just finished, but it did successfully fund. So this is called Fantasy Dread Elf Miniatures for 10mm scale wargame. So I wouldn't mind if GW came out with a smaller scale game at some point. Because there's only so many large 28mm miniatures you can fit in the average house. You can have much larger, more epic, fast battles with smaller scales. And looking through this, it does kind of give me the old itch to consider that kind of scale again. I don't know if I'll be jumping on it immediately, but it's something I would like to explore in future, a smaller scale game. I always wanted to go back to the old days of Epic. Pre-Epic 40,000, although that's probably the one that people still play if they're still into that scale. GW. Maybe one day.
Had some good lyrics here for the Pile of Shame.
Plenty to work with there. So next week will be the debut of the Pile of Shame theme song. Whether it has to be a live version or not, we'll find out next week. And very exciting. Pile of Shame coming back. So if you've got a Pile of Shame, or if your Pile of Shame has enlarged, or perhaps it's shrunk since last time, and you want to give us your progress, be able to post it in under the post that I put up on the Facebook group or on the Discord server as well. So very exciting times. Now let's go back and look at, where do we want to leave it resting? Let's leave it resting on the Witch Hunter there for a minute. So it's about time to wrap this one up. Still haven't got the replacement for the Forest of Rem and Witch Coven nailed down yet, but it is coming, don't you worry. We're also working on special guests for the show coming up in the near future, hopefully as well, which the Remster is very excited about. Means he can get away with doing even less on the show.
I provide that certain je ne sais quoi on this show.
You provide something, certainly. So, while we go through the end of show wrap-up, let's have a look at the thumbnail again. Yeah, so I think I look quite fetching on a vampire there. I think Remington looking very stoic as the Witch Hunter as well.
Yes, I think Andy's just looking in the mirror one last time, enjoying his new armor that's about to get pissed by my stake shotgun. And then I've got a hammer there just to finish it off.
So let us know, if you're watching this, not live, but after the fact, let us know in the comments which of these new reveals you're looking forward to most, which ones you're definitely going to be purchasing, and whether there's any of them that perhaps disappointed you. That'd be interesting to hear about as well, in the comments. So, before we go, of course, it's that time when I'm going to send out a personal thanks to the following people on Patreon who have supported this channel through thick and thin and helped to keep us afloat to provide this public service to the masses during these unprecedented turbulent times. So extra special thanks to the following people who've pledged to that level. Extra thanks to Graham, Roshi, Kim, John, Eric, Barbara and Guy. Couldn't do it without you. You're pillars of the community.
Mention the people that support Remington Industries and all the good that it does in the world. Thank you. Do appreciate the ones that have supported us from the start, still here as well. So thank you.
And don't forget to like this video if you haven't. There are lots of you watching that haven't liked it yet, and I'm frankly appalled.
Please fix the notifications so we can ring more people here, says Roshi, and bring guests. So Andy, sort it out, man. You're the YouTube expert.
Well, I don't know what the issue is, you see. Not only is it not notifying people when we're going live, but also it's demonetizing all my videos the instant they go live, and I have to manually appeal each one to get it taken off. So YouTube does not seem to like it.
Maybe they've just recognised my voice in the theme tune and think this guy, this superstar, can't be just lending his talents out to some little, Warhammer-based show.
Yeah,
Maybe
that must be it. Must be. Can't think of any other explanation, can you? Anyway, don't forget, like the video, subscribe if for some reason you haven't. You should be by now. Don't forget to check out all the links below, and we can reveal right now that I have now joined the year 2011, and I'm on Instagram now. So just a few years late, but I'm finally arriving at that particular party, like the hip young social media guru that I am. And
what's your handle?
My handle is, of course, Andy2D6 on Instagram, so you can follow me on there for the pictures of whatever I'm painting, and also high quality pictures of miniatures from the past that I've painted as well, which I'm populating my profile with, and pictures of all the cakes I'm making as well.
Oh, lovely. I sampled Andy's cake making skills. Very good. And if you want a real amazing Instagram channel to join, try Remington Warhammer. You can see all my professional standard paint jobs looking blessed and stunning. A lot of limited edition stuff on there. So,
Certainly
yeah.
can.
It's almost like, do you want to come to RemCon or Andy Palooza? For RemCon, Remington Warhammer. For Andy Palooza, I can't even remember the handle, so don't worry about that.
Andy 2D6, of course. I was looking for your account on Instagram actually, and I thought I'm going to type in Remington Steel, but then like 1,000 accounts came up, so obviously it wasn't that. But that's what happens when you name your channel and your social media presence after something that's an established and popular television franchise. Maybe not so popular nowadays.
Yes, maybe so. I don't know, Andy. I'm just reading the chat. I think we also just, I don't know. We used to get thousands of views. Anyway, look, I don't care. I love doing this, and we're in it to win it.
We're in it for the long haul. It's like Remington's stock adventure, and we're never cashing out. We're here for you forever, folks. So get used to it. And give us all your money as well while you're at it, because, you know, why wouldn't you?
Give Andy your money.
Well, that's... Yeah, obviously.
Bring on to Uncle Atom. Love to bring on to Uncle Atom.
Yeah, we need to approach him about coming on the show again, I think.
Yeah, he'd definitely be up for us doing him a favour and bolstering his channel.
Yeah, giving him a boost to his kind of mediocre viewing figures.
Yeah, Faux Hammer as well. He was a funny guest, wasn't he? I liked him.
Analysing all of your Remington Industry $1 million ideas with his expert eye.
It was almost like he wanted a job at Remington Industries. He got bang into it. So I think he deserves a second shot.
Got lots of guests in the pipeline, so keep your eyes peeled.
RB said he's liking your Instagram, but you need to work on your hashtag game. Andy.
Yeah, you need to put 1 billion hashtags on things, apparently, so I'm working on that. I'm only on about 3 or 4 hashtags at the moment, so we'll see.
Don't worry, you'll get bored really soon.
I'm going to become an Instagram legend. Not only with my miniatures, but also with my cakes. Once a week, brand new cake pits. Mouth-watering succulence. And then the cakes. So, it is time to wrap this up now. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Next week, another spicy adventure. And we'll see what drops before then for us to talk about. In addition, Pile of Shame, Nerd Confessions, get them rolling in. And we'll probably see you before then. We might see you for some Vermintide before then, perhaps. And keep an eye out for my painting streams as well, if you want to follow my painting adventures. And all that remains to be said is, good night out there. Whatever you...
It's the Andy and Remington Steel Show on your screens tonight. It's the Andy and Remington Steel Show for your home delight. We're talking about Age of Sigmar and anything else that is cool. Talking about